Welcome to SKN Football Weekly, or weekly podcast looking at football in St. Kitts and Nevis. So much to talk about, so much to look at this week as we have started the Final Four playoffs and we're heading now into the final preliminary round. I'm your host, Andre Huey. I'll be here with you for the next few minutes to discuss the playoffs and what has transpired so far in the SKNFA Premier League playoffs, sponsored by the National Bank Group of Companies. And to do this with me each and every week, I'm joined by LaShawn Dixon. He is a reporter with the St. Kitts Nevis Observer. LaShawn, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm happy to get to be talking football again for another week, especially since the playoffs are starting. So happy to be back.
Yes, certainly. And of course, we took a break last week because we had the Final Four press conference live last week, so we didn't have the time to bring you the games or rather any preview of the playoffs, but I think the press conference was good enough for that, and so we're back to look at the Final Four playoffs. So before we get into any discussion, LaShawn, we're going to play the highlights from match day 1 and match day 2, as well as some interviews from some of the coaches that have presented themselves so far, or actually would have taken the time out to be interviewed, looking ahead at the Final Four. And when we come back, we will talk more about the games that played so far and what we can anticipate for the final preliminary round, which will be tomorrow at the National Bank Group Technical Center. So let's go to recap of the games, and then we'll come back to talk more at the end.
Dorset finds Barnes into space. Dorset keeps running into the area. Go left for home. Knight is off of a defender. The goal was
that ball deflecting off of Heiliger, so it's another corner. Heads go up.
Well, it's the goal here. That's the goal by it's Hendrickson clipping that one past the goalkeeper. Just a little bit of a flick. It was the second ball that was helped on to Hendrickson and carry on with the opening goal here at the Technical Center. 1-0. We are into the 77th minute of play. Derek the Ocean Mills.
A lovely flick on there. As you see, heads going up. Mervyn getting the touch, rising above everyone and getting that head, and Hendrickson in the right place at the right time.
Down. Tyrrell looking for movement from Walker Brown, and a misclearance here. This one could be the equalizing goal. Yes, it is. Walker Brown with the touch. It was Roberts who did the defending. It wasn't good. The loose ball got to Walker Brown and he tucked it past Zaki Smith. It's 1-1.
So Malik Roberts failing to clear there, making a silly mistake. Walker Brown with the outstretched leg, just getting that touch and had enough on it to get it roll over the goal line. And it's 1-1. Game on here, Novel. Game on. St. Peter's have struck back and equalized this game.
Marshall goes inside to Mills. Misses out, but then, oh! Out of this game, Edward.
Well, I'm almost certain Leslie will not remain this way.
Goes, try to thread the needle to Tiquani. Tiquani gets to it now, and Tiquani fires a shot and vessels it in the back of the net. You just called it. It didn't even take a minute in the game. Oh my God. Fraser. Brown slides us one through, looking for the word of Tiquani. Tiquani gets a touch. Looks like he came off the hand, but no! It's in the back of the net.
Right.
It hit his hand.
He did hit his hand, and I'm surprised the assistant didn't get that one right. That one.
Edward. Ooh. This got to be a card this time. He can't get away this time. But wait, Trevor Hanley has a card already. He has a card. Francois fakes. Francois still traveling. Francois gives it to Edward. Edward fakes a shot. Edward comes in on the left foot. Ooh, my goodness. Mike's flag. Here comes Isaac. Thought he was going to get back to it, but the Freitas can't clear it. Finally clear it now. Williams. It's Williams. Gives it to Theodule. Edward. Goes further to Francois. Francois cuts back. Has Edward. Oh! And there we have Nijan fouling Mills. And he also goes into the books. Wait a minute. He's got. Whistle gone. Francois goes in and Francois bangs that one. Oh! Clifford Samuel was rooted to the ground. Tiquani. Tiki. Pauses, struts in, and bangs it in the back of the net with authority. Goalkeeper went the right way, but too much power, and the referee brought this one to an end. Had enough with 6 points, manhandling the Honda Newtown United in this encounter. Oh, what a pass here. We have the goalkeeper coming out. And he's out of the goal. What a chance here by Thompson. Went on an island. But comes away to Barnes. Barnes has Williams going around the corner. Williams with a touch. Williams with a cross. And inside for the a spanker, a rocker. And it's in the back of the net. It's 1-0 in favor of Keyon Rockets. Well, Mr. Lewis got a touch. One to control. With his wall, but whistle gone now, so we need action now. Edward or Francois. Francois hits it! Oh, that one like a high jumper going over the rod and clearing.
Puts it over. And Tiquani controls and bangs it. And it goes directly into the hands of Henry.
Yeah, Tiquani got a little space over there, which is the man you don't want to be having space. The ball fell to the man. Now this is the red card. This is the red card offense where Lyndon did foul. He did foul him, we know that. But it wasn't a dog sue goal scoring opportunity. But he was given it as the last defender, I'm guessing. She's in control. Then Tiquani sped down the line. But look at that.
Putting it on a platter. Putting it on a platter for Boston.
Meat and drinks.
Not able to cushion it.
Unbelievable.
Looking to swing this one over. Finds Eddie. Eddie. Looking for Boston. Boston looking to find Tiquani. Tiquani still with it. Tiquani looking to fire a shot. And puts it into the back of the net. That one goes through the hands of Henry. Henry not able to hold on. It was not the most powerful shot by Tiquani, but managed to sneak through, and Tiquani breaking the deadlock here in the 71st minute of play.
First of all, again, St. Peter's a very good opponent, so we must, of course, congratulate them for turning up this evening. They really gave us a fight. They really pushed us. But I think tonight for me, as I would have told my team, is no longer about the fitness or the volume of work what we did, but basically about sharpness, mentality, clarity, and recovery. To me, for most of it, out of those 4 things that I spoke about, there was equal to about 2 of them. I think that there were some insularities that creeped in on our guys, but we were good enough to get the winner, and that is what I'm grateful for. I think that we stuck to it nonetheless, and we were able to get the go-ahead goal and win this game. So I must say congratulations to my team as well.
How do you keep the focus of the team, not to become complacent? Because you're winning each game, you're getting confident, but at the same time, you don't want complacency to step in.
That is so true. But again, for us, it's just about one game at a time. So this one is behind us now, so that is no longer a part of what we are doing. And all we have to do is just dictate about the history book that you want to write. We are now on to a new chapter. So tonight was one chapter. To the next game is another chapter. So basically, what is it that you want to write into the history? And so therefore, we just take it one game at a time, and just to recuperate, recover, do everything within the football realms to basically come back. So tomorrow we have another day where we're going to do some recovery. Monday we're going to go back to the training ground in preparation for the next game. So it's always about the next game. So until that moment comes, we'll just have to do and continue to talk to our guys, continue to instill in them what this is all about. It's all about legacy. It's all about standards. It's all about you. And so therefore, the dream continues. And like I said, whatever you want the next chapter to be about, is only you can write it.
Finally, what were some of the areas that you think needed some tweaking tonight that you need to work on for the end of the game?
Well, to be honest, if I must let the secret out of the bag, I believe tonight, the first 45 minutes tell a lot on our guys tonight. I've never seen them run like that. I thought they should have been much better. We were not pressing as we are accustomed to. We were not getting the passes as we are accustomed to, so the killer passes were not there. I think we were rushing a little bit too much, and I just thought that those are simple things to tweak. So we got some practice days ahead of us to tweak those things. So it's always good that when you win, but even when you play, you still have, as a coach, you have to look into the game and not just watch the game. So I have looked into the game and I've seen the things that we could do differently, and those are the things that we will definitely be working on the training pit in preparation for the next game.
They played with guts. They really showed that they wanted that win. I mean, the red card really affected us, and I could see the guys were fighting even after that. You know what I mean? And seeing the results. I am super proud of the guys. I'm super proud of them. We're just going to build from strength to strength from there.
Now, how do you build on this now? How do you pick the guys up now after disappointing loss, considering how well they fought in this match?
Well, what we're going to do, we're going to be back out on Monday, have a meeting, see where we went wrong, because we have a lot of things that we could encourage them on, because they were passing the ball more than Old Road. Old Road was playing the long ball, that's all they were playing. But our guys were passing the ball, and even with 10 guys, with 10 guys, they could not move the ball around. That's why I'm super proud of that. So we're going to build from that.
Finally, from your observation, what were some of the things, other than the fact that you had the red card early in the match, what were some of the things that you felt that they could have done a little bit better?
A little more hunger, and I think the guys would be, if they had that drive, I think these are things that they were, you know what I mean, as players you must have in you, and I think if we continue building with that, we can be an excellent team.
All right, so there you have it there. That's the coach of St. Peter's Football Club, Wayne Phillip. He was speaking after they would have lost the first match on Saturday, the first match day of the Final Four playoffs. They lost to Old Road, MSCR Old Road United Jets. And prior to that, you heard from Alexis Morris, the coach of Old Road, in his first match as well. Now, what we didn't share with you yet, which we'll share later on, was the interview with Coach Morris talking about Old Road getting into the finals. So yes, after match day 2, MSCR Old Road United Jets, the league leaders, still unbeaten, the FA Cup champions for 2026. They are now in the finals of the Premier League. They will play in the finals when Game 1 starts next week, Wednesday. There will be one final round, of course, to determine the other finalists, and that will be held tomorrow at the National Bank Group Technical Center. That promises to be exciting. So those matches, we're going to preview those matches later on in the program. But right now, we're going to get the views of our football analyst, LaShawn Dixon, to get his views on so far what he thinks about the playoffs. We've seen 4 matches so far. LaShawn, one final is determined. That's Old Road. Not a surprise to many. They certainly came in as heavy favorites, and they've so far won their 2 games. They have one more game left. But your thoughts on the playoffs so far?
The final 4 playoffs, definitely they have lived up to that that tag, the favorites tag. They know that they're in preparation for the finals, hopefully to win their first Premier Division title, but they have been undefeated all season. They have barely dropped points all season, and so far that has carried over into the final 4 playoffs, defeating a Newtown side that has looked good all season, and before that defeating St. Peter's. So it's kudos to them for how they've played thus far in the playoffs. But overall, the other games, we've seen four magnificent games, all close. Even though the Old Road Newtown game, the scoreline didn't seem as close as the game was. They were all close games. They were all tight games. In the first game, we saw the Kenya Rockets defeating Newtown United by a solitary goal to 0. I thought Kenya came out, they were the better side. They could have had more goals. But I also thought Newtown had opportunities to try and get back into the game as well. In the second game, where St. Peter's lost to Old Road Jets, I felt, although St. Peter's were down to 10 men for majority of that game, I thought they showed some fight. They gave up a goal in the second half. They regardless, and they should have been disappointed not to get something out of the game, despite being down to 10 men for 3/4 of that game or more. In the third game, we saw St. Peter's versus Kean, another close encounter. Kean taking the lead. That game could have gone anyway. Kean taking the lead very late on. Many thought, hey, that would have been them booking a spot in the finals or having one foot in the finals. But then St. Peter's fought back. They came back, they got a goal, and they kept themselves alive in the final 4 playoffs going into the final game. And in the fourth game now, as we said, Old Road, they defeated Newtown United 3 goals to 0. A game, it was, as I said earlier, it was a lot closer than the scoreline suggests. Newtown were very tight after they went down to 10 men in the first half. They conceded seconds into the second half through a goal from Tikwani Williams, who has been outstanding for the entire season, and it's carried over into the playoffs. He's actually gone up another gear thus far in the playoffs, having scored 4 goals already. We see that he basically has willed Old Road to the finals thus far, but for Newtown, they should take they should be optimistic of what they saw from the team this season, considering that they were a newly promoted team. They were second for most of the season. I think officially they came in third for the playoffs. They gave a good account of themselves thus far in the playoffs. They have one more game to go, but it doesn't mathematically they can't get to the finals. But it's an opportunity for them to blood some younger players in a game that doesn't mean anything for them. And also, I said the community should be proud of how they perform. But for Old Road, as we said, they'll be happy they're in the finals. They remain undefeated, and they continue going from strength to strength.
Absolutely. Well, let's start with Old Road, since you refer to them. Of course, they've made it to the finals. They're undefeated, and they still don't consider themselves favorites. At least if we go based on what the coach has been saying, he sees them. We haven't accomplished anything yet. We come in 0. We are underdogs. We are not favorites. He doesn't see themselves as favorites, or maybe that's what he's telling the media, and then behind the scenes he's saying something else. But nonetheless, it has been a remarkable season so far for Old Road. And their consistency, you talk also about Tiquani, the fact that he's a leading goal scorer and he's also leading the team as well in the playoffs. It's just absolutely remarkable. For them not to win the league, if they go on and not win the league, how disappointing would that be? And if they go on and win the league, what legacy do you think they would have left on local football?
I think look to take the positives out of it for how long they went undefeated. But I don't see a scenario where they don't go on to win the league from here, considering up until this point they played 18 league games plus two Final Four games thus far, so that's 20 games, and they've yet to be defeated. So I don't see anybody defeating them in a 3-game series. At least I don't see them losing the 3-game series. They might lose one of the games in the 3-game series. I speak about legacy. I think it will go down as one of the most remarkable seasons we've seen in the SKNFA Premier Division, considering how they went about it. If they could do it undefeated, I know you're an Arsenal fan, so you like to you like to make reference to an invincible season, and it will be a big thing for them to go through an entire Premier Division season and FA Cup season as well, undefeated, winning a double and being declared possibly one of the greatest champions we've ever produced here for the Premier Division.
Absolutely. And the thing about it too, Loshan, is that it's one of those things where you've never seen this happen before. I mean, yes, we've seen a team go into the season unbeaten. That happened in the Premier League era in local football. That happened with Garden Hotspurs back in 2009,
Yep.
where they finished second that year, and they didn't win the league that year. That league was won by Newtown. So for Oro to do that, if they go through the season unbeaten and winning the league, winning the FA Cup, that is by far a bar that has not been set by any team in local football. So they would certainly be described as the Invincibles, and I would go further to say the Unforgettables, because to do something like that, I don't think you can ever forget, that kind of contribution to football. Let's talk a little bit about Tiquani before we move from Old Road. He is a leading league goal scorer in the regular season, and so far he's leading the way in the playoffs, more or less putting himself in the conversation to becoming the MVP for the playoffs. So if he were to win MVP for the playoffs and go on, of course, winning the Golden Boot, which he already won, what would that say for a Tiquani Williams season, and in terms of his legacy as a still very young footballer and one of the top talisman for St. Kitts Nevis national team?
Well, I've been saying that season he's just too good. Even before the season starts, I've been saying he's just too good. He's definitely, by and large, the best player we have in the Premier Division, and he's gone to another level this season. He's leading in the Golden Boot race, as you said, and I don't think there's anyone who could catch him unless a miracle has somehow happened. Just for the playoffs, he has all 4 goals for Old Road, and he looks like a man possessed. And especially when St. Peter's are kicking, I would say, towards the north, towards the Little Mount area where most of the Old Road fans normally sits, he always seems to find a goal when kicking in that direction, as you see on the screen here now. It's something that I haven't seen in this league for a very long time. A player who just comes in and dominates from week 1 until now we're in game 20 of the season, and he doesn't look like he has any intentions to slow down or stop.
Absolutely unbelievable. He's really had a remarkable season, and he is the league leading goal scorer. And if we take a look at the standings so far, he is certainly at the top of the table. Well, here we go. The top goal scorers. He has had Tiquani Williams from MSCR Old Road United Jets. He has 28 goals. 28 goals in the league, the regular season. That's miles apart from the next challenger, which is Sylvester Keynes of 100 Newtown United with 15. Tijani Fai of Salt Island Auto Supplies Connery FC has 11, tied with Shabin Boston. Formerly of St. Peter's, now playing with Old Road. He has 11 goals as well. And at the bottom, in the top 5, or rounding out the top 5, I should say, Devon Mills of Honda Newtown United. So Newtown has 2 players in the top 5 goal scorers, as well as Old Road. But my word, Tiquani Williams certainly was on a roll this season, leading all scorers with 28 goals this season. A remarkable achievement indeed. All right, so LaShawn, so we have it there for the regular season activities for Old Road. Let's start from the bottom, come up. So far, Newtown United, Honda Newtown United, they are eliminated from the finals. They still have one more game left. It will just be playing for pride. But as you said in your earlier statement, that it is still a successful season for Newtown, because this is a team that newly got promoted back up into the Premier League, finishing 3rd, and making it to the playoffs. That is an accomplishment. Do you think, though, that Newtown, the players and the team, the club on a whole, would be satisfied with just, making the playoffs, not making it to the finals? Or do you think they want to go out in a blaze of glory and try to win the final match of the playoffs and of the season for them?
Yeah, and considering the history of Newtown, where they have been one of the most successful teams in the Premier Division history, they would want to be a team bigger than just making the playoffs. They want to see themselves as a team that fights for the title every season. But as you said, they were a newly promoted team. They finished 3rd. They got to the playoffs. They were in both the games that they played thus far. They just couldn't get over the line. So I think there's some positives to take from that. And as I said, it's an opportunity for them to see some new talent. They could try and remain competitive as well, but also look to the future to see what they have going into next season and how they can build for the future and for the long haul to get Newtown back to the place where they were prior to the relegation.
Yeah, and as you said, they are the most successful team in local football. Won 16 top flight titles, so that is remarkable. But this is a right step. It's a step in the right direction. So we'll see what happens next season. But as we talk about that, let's talk a little bit about the fact that they're playing Development Bank St. Peter's on Saturday. That's tomorrow, in the first of the doubleheader. Now that match is crucial because mathematically, St. Peter's can still qualify for the finals. They are in 3rd place at the moment with 1 point. They earned that point in their last match against Keon. If they were to win that, they will have to win it by a huge margin and then hope that Keon loses to Old Road in order for them to have a chance to go through. But as you said, Newtown would want to go out, ending the season on a high, and that would be scoring some goals and winning that match on Saturday. How much will Newtown play in that role in preventing St. Peter's from making it to the finals?
Well, they have the opportunity to go out and I guess put the best foot forward and try and hope and get a result. Try and hope not to finish at the bottom of the final 4 standings. We see that, as you said, St. Peter's, they have opportunity, so they will have something more to play for. They will be a lot more hungry in that scenario than the St. Peter's, than Newtown. So I expect St. Peter's to be more driven in their quest for a finals berth. But Newtown United, I don't think they would want to see themselves at the bottom of the final 4 table, and would want to go out with some respectability and some pride. So hopefully we can see them pick up a few points and give St. Peter's some competitive game for the final of the final encounter of the season.
Yeah, that will be interesting. That is going to be a really interesting match. You see, there are no dull games in the Final Four playoffs, because even if you have nothing to play for in the case of Newtown, you don't want to go out, as a team that went to the playoffs, didn't score any goal, and lost all your matches. So they certainly will try to play a role. But let's talk quickly about St. Peter's. You heard from Coach Wayne Phillip after their first match. Unfortunately, they went down to 10 men early in the match and had to play most of the game with 10 men, and they held out Old Road for most of the match, only conceding in the second half 1 goal and eventually losing that match. That's a heartbreaker for Newtown, for St. Peter's, but it also says something about them, though. Even though they didn't win that match, it showed their resilience, it showed their fighting spirit, and it showed that they can go toe-to-toe with the league leaders, and in this case, a team that has not lost a game all season. Talk about the resilience of St. Peter's and whether or not you think they have a chance against Newtown on Saturday.
Well, most definitely they have a chance. Once they're in it, they have a chance. And as you said, they went down to Old Road. They went down to 10 men against Old Road, and then they fought back. They showed some fight. They remained competitive in the game, but eventually, again, Tikwani Williams was too much for them, and he got the go-ahead goal that gave Old Road the edge. And then in the second game against Keon, it was very competitive. They were in it for most of the time, and then Keon took a late lead. And when everyone thought it was over for St. Peter's, they managed to find a goal out of nothing almost, and they kept themselves alive in the Final Four playoffs. So it's a opportunity for them. The game is there for the taking. It's for them to take advantage of it and hope that Old Road can do them a favor in the game against Keon.
Regardless of what happens with St. Peter's tomorrow, how would you assess their season, whether they go through the finals or they don't? Do you think it was a good season for St. Peter's? I don't think a lot of people had them in the four when the season started.
Well, it was a good comeback season, seeing that they missed out on the Final Four last year after winning the year before. It was a good comeback season for them to get into the Final Four, although they needed help from results elsewhere. So them being in the Final Four is almost like a free hit for them. But it's a good comeback season considering that last season they just missed out on the Final Four, and now they're back. So it's a good season for them, and it's a good opportunity for them to make a final still. It's still well on for them to get into the final. So it's a good opportunity. It's a good rebound, as I said, from what happened last season. So it still could be a strong season for St. Peter's.
Absolutely. Well, we'll see what happens. What tomorrow, as I said, it's a huge match where they face Honda Newtown United. Now let's take a quick look now at Keon. Keon, they're in the second spot. So if the playoffs ended today, they would be the next finalists. But they have to work for it, and they're going to be playing Old Road in the final match tomorrow of the playoffs. That is probably not the match you were hoping to have to end the season or to put yourself in the final. And at least they would feel like they should have been in a much better position to do so, because they were leading 1-0. They got that go-ahead goal on Wednesday night, and then just minutes later, a lapse in defense, and St. Peter's equalized. They're probably kicking themselves and thinking, man, we were just this close from confirming our final spot. Now they have to do it the hard way. They will have to beat Old Road. At least, well, they don't have to. I mean, mathematically, they could still go through if they get a draw, but you don't want to leave anything to chance. You want to make sure you get, especially if St. Peter's were to win their first match. All right, LaShawn, I think we lost connection there for a bit. So yes, I was making the point just before we got disconnected that the Keon are actually in pole position to make the finals, but they are in a very difficult position because they must get a good result against Old Road, and especially if St. Peter's were to win their match. Talk to us about their performance so far in the playoffs. They've had a really good second round in the regular season, and they've put themselves in a good position. The last time, however, these two teams met, it was a 4-0 victory for Old Road in the semi-finals of the FA Cup.
Yeah, and I think outside of Old Road, Cairn was the farm team coming into the playoffs. They had a good second round of the season. They finished the season well. They finished the regular season well. They came into the playoffs in second position eventually, and they they were looking good for a period there against St. Peter's. After defeating Newtown 1-0, they get a late goal against St. Peter's with about 15 minutes to go, and at that point they probably were thinking about preparations for the finals, but in the end, a defensive lapse eventually meant that St. Peter's got the equalizer and kept their own hopes alive and put a damper on Cairns. But at the end of the day, it's still in their hands. They still can make the finals. They just need a point, and they need to get it again. But they need to get it against Old Road. I know they would have been hoping that before they play this Old Road game, they would have hoped that they would have gotten enough points to at least make the finals, but they'll have to do it the hard way and try and get a point against Old Road. Hopefully, results elsewhere go their way, but they'll probably be disappointed having the lead so late in the game and then giving up a goal about 6 minutes later. So hopefully for them, they could get something against Old Road tomorrow.
That's the thing about it as well, Sean, is that we've seen a lot of these defensive lapses from time to time. We've seen it from Newtown for most of the season, but we tend to see it from Cairn in the postseason, and that is always seemed to be a challenge. That they had an opportunity last year as well, same situation again. Defensive lapses cost them the game that would have put them in a position to get to the finals. And here we are again this year. We're seeing the same thing. What is it about them? Is it that mentally they're switching off at the wrong time, or they just need to do some work when it comes to the defensive, when it comes to defending a lead, especially getting a lead so late in the match?
Definitely, it's possibly something mental. There's a block when it comes to trying to get over that hump to get to the finals in the last few years. They've always done well to get to the playoffs in seasons prior, and they continue that going into this season. Usually, for the previous two seasons, they started well in the first round and have a fall off in the second round and go into the playoffs on the back of not great form. But this season, it was reversed, where they had a inconsistent first round, and then they had some momentum going into the second round and into the playoffs, and I thought that would have been the catalyst for them to move to the finals, and it hasn't worked out thus far, but there's still an opportunity for them. They'll have to do it against the undefeated Old Road Jets, who have been playing some unbelievable football, as we've said. So it's still in their hands. They still can get there, but they will need all the available talent and willpower in order to get over that hump.
We look forward to see what that holds, because it promises to be exciting for the fans, of course. I'm sure the fans are looking forward to it. So no dull game in the Final Four playoffs. 2 great games tomorrow. 2 games that will have consequence on who will make the finals to join Old Road. So let's just recap the games that are coming up for those fans who are interested in knowing what's going on. So we have at 6 p.m. Hunter Newtown United. They're already eliminated from the playoffs, but they have one last game left, and they'll be playing Development Bank St. Peter's FC. St. Peter's mathematically can still qualify for the finals, but they would need to win, and they would need to win by a large margin, and hope that Cairn loses to Old Road. So at 8 p.m. we'll see now MSCR Old Road United Jets, already qualified for the finals. They will be facing Azul Cairn Rockets. Cairn will just need a draw, basically, to get them in, so they don't necessarily need to win that match, but I'm sure they'll probably want to try and win it and to be the first team to knock Old Road off their perch. There's one other scenario, though, regarding this though, LaShawn, that I don't think we looked at is the fact that of the two potential finalists to join Old Road, St. Peter's and Keon, if you were Old Road, who would you want to face? And as a result of that, what would you need to do to ensure that you get that opponent?
Well, I don't think they'll have a preference. I don't think they'll have a team in mind, because at the end of the day, early in the season, if I could recall, I think it was the first game of the season, they thrashed the St. Peter's side. But later on in the season, I think St. Peter's played them quite competitively. Keon, on the other hand, was the first team to take points off of them this season. And then in the reverse fixture, they handled Keon quite handily. And then thus far in the Final Four playoffs, I think St. Peter's played them very well with 10 men. So I don't think they wouldn't mind who they get in the finals. I think they'll be confident that they'll defeat either of the two. But I don't know who would be the preference. I can't pick a preference for them.
That's a very interesting analysis. You're correct. Yes, St. Peter's did give them a run for their money, so they probably wouldn't want to see St. Peter's, and they did manhandle Keon, but there have been mixed results in that sense. The outcome, however, has always been that they remain unbeaten. They haven't lost. They didn't lose those matches, and they're still unbeaten so far. All right, so before we wrap up, we're going to take a quick look at the table. Here it is. Quite simple. 4 teams. United Old Road Jets at the top of the table with 6 points. Second position, in pole position to meet the finals with them, Azul Keon Rockets on 4 points. St. Peter's FC with a mathematical chance just on the outside with a point, and Newtown United already eliminated, Honda Newtown United that is, already eliminated at the bottom of the table without a goal or without any points. Of course, they will probably want to end the season off on a high. All right, so what we're going to do at this point, LaShawn, is that we're going to take a quick look at other things that happened in football this past couple of weeks, since we were off, or since we were on the last time. We were speaking about the Division One league and the fact that it was in its final week as well, and Lodge Patriots were poised to win. Well, eventually they did, and they ended their season with a 4-0 victory over Rivers of Living Water FC. So we're going to give you a report with an interview with coach and president of the Lodge, the coach and the president of Lodge Patriots, as they have earned their way back to the Premier League after several years out of the Premier League. So let's go to this. It's the final match week of Division One football, as we take a quick look at that, and then we'll talk a bit about it. We're also going to look at Under 13. The Under 13 Boys League also ended, the SKNFA Under 13 Boys League. So we'll play those 2 reports. We'll come back to wrap up the show this week. For a draw with Connery Fireballs. The ultimate match week of the 2025-2026 SKNFA Division 1 football season began Thursday, April 23, as the KFC Trinity Challengers United staged a spirited comeback to earn a 4-4 draw with Connery Fireballs International. Trinity Challengers overturned an early deficit after goals from Savion Weeks in the 2nd minute and Joshua Mills in the 14th minute for Connery Fireballs International. Omari Morris pulled one back in the 38th minute before second half strikes from Jean-Wade Duport in the 49th minute and Terrence Wallace in the 54th extended Connery's lead. Tyrese Terrell Dujon in the 58th minute and Kalen Liebert in the 75th, as well as Clavaldo Jeffers in the 86th minute, completed the dramatic fightback for Trinity Challengers United. After the match, coach of Trinity Challengers United, Orrin Hughes, praised his team for the fightback.
Good comeback in terms of what would have happened in the first half, being down 2-0. However, I think the players came out a bit complacent in terms of thinking that it is an easy walkover. And I think mentally, for example, they just lose a little bit of it until they recognize that they were behind.
He also offered some reflection of his team's performance in the league this season, especially considering they were leading the table at the turn of the year.
Well, for the start of the season, we were ahead, yes. However, being in front in terms of is always a tricky moment in that if you're not focused and ready to compete and take on what you have in terms of keeping it, we lose that momentum. And so, for example, being at the top of the table in the first round, some complacency, players start to lapse in terms of coming out for training, etc. Started pointing fingers at one another and at coaches. Those are things that we have to correct if we are going to farm and go forward.
All right. Finally, looking ahead for next season, when next season begins, what are your anticipations and hopes in terms of the team, the current squad you have, and whatever other changes you may have?
For us, once we can deal with those changes that I spoke of earlier in terms of the commitment, the sticking to it, playing as a unit, then yes, we can move forward and grow from strength to strength.
Meanwhile, goalkeeper for Connery, Tonaji Buchanan, assessed his team's performance in the match and reflected on their season.
We performed decently well out of all the games but we could have done better because we let them come back. But I think we could have capitalized on some more goals. And yeah.
And overall, how would you assess the performance of your team for the season, now that this is the last game of the season?
The team played not so good for the whole season, but we came out and played the games just for the fun of it, and we could have been doing better.
And finally, looking ahead for next season, I mean, how well do you think the team will do in terms of if you keep the same squad?
If we keep the same squad next season, we may do better if we continue training and working hard.
.607 Construction Lodge Patriots are the 2025-2026 SKNFA Division 1 champions after a commanding 4-0 victory over Rivers of Living Water at the Atiba Harris Sports Complex on Friday, April 24th. Javern Matthew led the charge with a clinical brace, opening the scoring from the penalty spot in the 9th minute before doubling his tally in the 30th. Okel Wilson added to the dominance with goals in the 17th and 49th minutes to seal an emphatic win and the title. Head coach Eldine Huggins of Lodge praised his team's mindset heading into the decisive final match of the season.
It was a long journey, and not only fellas, not only the team, but looking at the fans. And the stands, you see all the fans just come out in a full support. So this was for the community. I was just there just to guide, but these guys put in the work, they put in the effort, they did the hard work. Must say congrats to the guys, congrats to the fans as well, congrats to the community. We are now Division 1 champions. Division 1 champions. But again, the journey continues till finish. We have most things to do in the Premier.
Club President Leon Nato reflected on the team's journey, highlighting the strategic recruitment of experienced players at the start of the campaign as key to securing promotion to the Premier League.
To say that it's a long time coming is probably not even the right fitting words, but it's very deserving. This journey that with this special group of guys started last October at a meeting at Karma, and we reached out, the players reached out, and everybody had an objective to take Lodge Patriots first division team to the Premier Division. And from last October, they showed their commitment, their perseverance, their dedication, and they stuck with it, training after training after training.
Matthew's brace also confirmed him as the league's top scorer, finishing the season with an impressive 24 goals. Other results from Friday night saw Mantab edging Trevor Freights and associate Molineux Pitbulls 3-2, also in St. Peter's. Jermaine Carey scored the first goal in the 20th minute, and Trevin Nisbet added a second to give Mantab a 2-0 halftime lead. Molineux, however, responded through Travis Watson in the 60th minute and Keita Yonis in the 78th, only for Carey to score the winning goal late in the second half. Mantab's coach Shirlene Brown said the team aimed to enjoy themselves and finish strong.
Just came out to have fun in the game and show the skills that we have. It wasn't like no hard-fought games, our neighbors, so we didn't want to crush them, really. It's just for the guys to come out and have fun. Well, we had a up and down season. You know, when a team comes down from the Premier Division, they normally lose everything. They lose the coach, they lose the management, they lose the star players, and that is what happened to us. So we had to claw our way up from nothing. You know what I mean? And so I find they did well based on the negative circumstances that they had to go through.
Molyneux's coach George Kinta Gilbert admitted his team lacked proper preparation.
Well, we should have made use of our chances early, because chances don't win matches, goals. And we didn't use our chances early in the game, and because of that, we allowed the other team to get back into the game, and they punish us. I mean, that's football.
Generally speaking, how would you assess this season for the team?
The season could have been a lot better, but the problem is that the team is not consistent in practicing, you know, and you cannot just be lackadaisical in practice and not be dedicated to the game and be successful. It takes practice, togetherness, and a lot of hard work.
In other results, Skellig Garden Hotspurs delivered a dominant 7-0 win over Elka Limited Security Forces United at the Gardens Football Stadium. Caldry Libert netted a hat-trick, Brendan Tuckett added a brace, and Sean Percival and Curtis Sargent each scoring a goal to give that big win. And CIBC Village Galaxy defeated Mother Becky's T Fastcast Saddles United 3-0. Goals from Dylan Morton in the 17th minute, Akania Francis in the 28th minute, and an own goal by Javier Libert in the 78th minute. Friday's fixtures marked the conclusion of the Division 1 league season. The points table see Launch Patriots winning the league with 45 points, 2 ahead of Garden Hotspurs with 43 points. Both Spurs and Patriots have been promoted to the Premier League. In third place, Village Galaxy with 36 points. Trinity Challengers United finishing off in fourth place with 29 points. Mantab on 28 points in fifth. Molyneux on 27 points in sixth. Saddlers United in 7th with 23 points, Security Forces United with 14 points, and in 9th position, Connery Fireball International on 5 points, and at the bottom of the table, Rivers of Living Water FC with a point. Congratulations to Launch Patriots on capturing the title and securing promotion alongside Garden Hotspurs to next season's Premier League. St. Kitts Credit Union Security Forces United are the 2025-2026 SKNFA Under-13 Boys League champions. The team was officially presented with their trophy on Saturday, April 25th at the Atiba Harris Sports Complex in St. Peters, following their final match of the season against Keon Rockets. Despite suffering a 3-0 defeat to Keon, who secured second place with the result, Security Forces had already sealed the title, entering the final match day with an unassailable 61 points, 8 ahead of their closest rivals. Head coach Damian John noted that his team appeared nervous in the first half, but settled into their rhythm after the break. While acknowledging the loss, he celebrated the team's outstanding league triumph.
We were a bit nervous in the first half, but second half we went back out and played better. Keon came out fighting to win, so they did well. They won.
Now you're the champions. You have won the league. You comfortably. Your thoughts on the performance of the team and how the team was able to really dominate the season?
Well, I would say it's just hard work, dedication. The guys give it their all throughout the entire season, not just here on the pitch, but on the training ground. They came out day after day, and they walked towards the goal.
Right. How much of this nucleus of this team will you have for next season?
Maybe about 50% of the team will still remain, but we just don't stop there. We're looking at exposure. We're looking to go way beyond, not just locally, but internationally. Our plan is to keep training and be more modernized with different systems and whatever it takes. We just got to do it. Get out there, continue.
Vakeem Archibald with Keon Rockets said his team approached the match determined to win, knowing a victory would secure second place.
Coming in thought that I wanted to claim the second place, and I wanted revenge on them because they beat me in my hometown, Photo. So I wanted to win, and we come out and we do it.
Right. How would you comment on the team's performance?
Well, my team, we work hard, we went to training and do it, and they come out, they play to their potential, and feel proud of them that we could have come out with the 3-0 victory.
I know the season is finished, but how can you build on this for another season?
Well, we can keep the players them together and keep a small tournament between each other, keep it competitive, and keep them going and do the thing.
Lastly, how you rate Keon's season? You finished strong, you finished second, but overall, how would you comment on the season?
Well, we had a good season. We could have, I think we could have won the cup, but we dropped short and feel good that, we beat the winners in the end.
In individual awards, Golden Boot went to KJ Martin of Connery Fireball International, Best Goalkeeper Javon Leader of St. Paul's, and MVP Malji Marsham of Security Forces United. Earlier in the day, also in St. Peter's, SL Horses St. Paul's United under-13 team went down 3-2 to Development Bank St. Peter's FC. St. Peter's players Azan Liebert and Kimari Maynard reflected on their performance and the overall season.
The game was positive. Yeah, we missed a lot of chances, but we could have scored more. Yeah.
It was very fantastic that we didn't score the goals, but real positive for the last game of the season.
It was a good season. We lose game that we could have win.
We missed a lot of chances, and I think that's the reason why we finished bottom, but we're not bottom, but you know what I mean. But yeah, next season, more people going to U450, so I hope the U13 could cover.
Meanwhile, St. Paul's player Javante Freeman commended his players for their approach to both the match and the season as a whole.
They play good, but a couple mistakes, so I'm going to cut it out when I go back training.
The end of the season, but how would you rate the season for St. Paul's?
Good, because normally I will lose, so coach when I'm doing a good job with us.
Right. And looking ahead, how well you think now, based on the training you got this year and training and preparation you'll get next year, how well you think the team will do next year?
Better, because Chibika coach man serious about Chibika Ali use him serious about football, so I'll do better.
The latest triumph adds to Security Forces United's growing success following their title win in last summer's Eskenefe Under-13 Football Festival. Now let's take a look at the final point standings for the Under-13 League. Winning the league with 61 points, Security Forces United. In second place, Keon Rockets with 53 points. Third place, Bath United with 51. St. Paul's United finishing out on fourth place with 44 points. Connery Fireball International in fifth place with 44 points. Dream Chasers Saddlers in sixth place on 42 points. Molyneux FC on 27 points in seventh. Also, St. Peter's with 27 points, but a much lower goal difference, -5 to +4. Sandy Point are in 9th with 25 points. Village Superstars in 10th with 23 points. Dieppe Bay abandoned the season at around the second round. They only played 12 matches and had 13 points at the time. Newtown United, they were in 12th position with 7 points. And the bottom of the table, Trinity Challengers United, without registering a point. So there you have it there, the Under-13 League. Just a free recap of the Under-13 League, which is won by Security Forces, St. Kitts Credit Union, Security Forces United. And we saw Division 1, 607 Construction Lodge Patriots winning Division 1 and returning to the Premier League after several years away. Joining them will be Skellig Garden Hotspurs, a team from Central Bastia that have been out for 2 seasons. They're back in the Premier League. LaShawn, your thoughts on Lodge back in the Premier League after so long and winning Division 1?
Yeah, and as we said in the last edition that we did, that it is good to have Lodge back in the Premier Division after some time out. They had a boost by getting some big name players from Premier Division clubs who are originally from that area but were playing for other teams. So it's good to have them, to see them going back home and helping the team get promoted, helping the team chart a new future, getting back into the Premier Division, and hopefully could stay in the Premier Division for years to come.
And what about Spurs? Spurs being back after such a long time. I think a lot of people thought Spurs would have probably won the league, but as I spoke to the coach, he was more concerned about getting back to the Premier League and staying there, not just about winning the league.
Yeah, they probably would be relieved to be back, as you said. The coach was focused on getting back to the Premier Division. Last season, they probably would have anticipated that they would have bounced straight back into the Premier Division, but that wasn't the case. But now they find themselves back, and they would hopefully want to replicate what Newtown did this season, being back in the Premier Division after a relegation. So, as we said, Garden Hotspur is one of the most storied clubs here in St. Kitts and Nevis, and it's good to have them back in the Premier Division once again.
Indeed. All right, so let's quickly talk about the victory and the triumph of Security Forces United. They won the football festival last summer, and they went on now to win the youth league, the under-13 boys league. What does this mean for a young core of players that Security Forces now could probably work their way up into the senior ranks?
Yeah, they have been putting on several camps, I know, with younger footballers during the summer periods, and as you could see, it's probably starting to bear fruit as they dominated the under-13 competition. I think they won it by 12 points. Kudos to them for what they have been doing at the Security Forces in football development. What we've seen thus far from them with the work that they've done, it's likely will continue to bear fruit, as you said, and happy to see that what they have started, you could see some tangible benefits of the work that they've been doing thus far with these youth camps and whatnot.
Let's take a quick look at this, LaShawn, before we wrap up. We have to give the goalkeeper some love. We talk about the excellent performance of Tiquani Williams in the Premier League, being the league leading goal scorer. We also have some excellent performances between the sticks as well. Here we have Clifford Samuels of MSCR Old Road United Jets, another Old Road player, topping the table. That's Bully, better known as Bully Clifford Samuel, with 5 clean sheets. But guess what? He's tied with 2 other goalkeepers. Kevis Hanley of Development Bank St. Peters FC, that's Pocket, known to most people in St. Peters, and Zakis Smith of Azul Cairn Rockets, coming up through the ranks as well and tying with 5 clean sheets. Your thoughts on these performances?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that most teams would have hoped that it would have been more clean sheets, but as you said, we have 3 campaigners, 3 veteran campaigners who lead the clean sheet standings. They over the last few seasons, they have been some of the top goalkeepers throughout the league, and it continued into this season. And I don't know if the playoffs will count to that, but if so, I think Clifford Samuel would now be on 7, and Zaki should be on 6.
Yeah, well,
so
it's for the regular season. I'm not sure if they're going to add the tally from. It's not normally done that way though, so they just go based on the regular season and just give them the Golden Glove based on that. But yes, if you're right, if it also included playoffs, it would have been 6 at this point. So he would be leading.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. I'm not sure if all 3. I guess they will share the tide with all 3 goalkeepers. That would be historic in a sense. And we also do have the Division 1. Let's give you the Division 1 standings as well. So we have leading the pack by at least 2 clean sheets more is Brendan Tuckett from Skellig Garden Hotspurs. His fellow compatriot, fellow player rather, from Garden Hotspurs, the reserve goalkeeper, Cleandre Vanterpool, also, well, he has 5, so 2 less than him. So we see Spurs dominating the goalkeeping in Division 1 this season with total of 12 clean sheets between the two goalkeepers. Tyreek Morton of 607 Construction Lodge Patriots has 5, and Dwight Huggins of CIBC Village Galaxy with 4 clean sheets. So excellent performances all round. But quickly, just your thoughts on Tuckett and of course of Spurs having 12 clean sheets in Division 1 this season.
Yeah, and I guess it's a testament to them getting promoted that the goalkeeper was able to keep that amount of clean sheets. Defensively, they probably were one of the better teams in Division 1. And as I said, defense wins the championship. So hopefully they could replicate that come next season, and they'll be definitely a team to remain in the Premier Division.
Well, LaShawn, we're out of time. So I'm just going to ask you quickly just your predictions on this weekend's Final Four playoff matches. We have Old Road versus Keon. That's the second of the two of the doubleheader. But the first one, of course, will be St. Peter's versus Newtown. So your thoughts on your predictions, rather, for those two games?
Well, I think St. Peter's will be able to overcome Newtown team and put pressure on Keon, but I think in the end Keon will do enough to get a draw against Old Road and make it to the finals.
All right, so you predict a draw against between Keon and Old Road, and St. Peter's you think will get it over, will get something from that game against Newtown. It is a big effort that these players are making to represent their communities, and so we want you to go out and support the teams. So again, LaShawn, thank you so much for being on
this weekend.
And that will do it for this week's edition of SKN Football Weekly. Thank you so much for watching. Join us again next week. We will take a look at the playoffs. Well, actually the finals by that time, because we would have had at least game 1 played in the finals by the time we come back with you next week, Friday. So we look forward to seeing you and seeing what happens. Again, go out and support your teams tomorrow and make it a great day at the National Bank Group Technical Center in St. Peters for the Final Four playoffs, the final preliminary round matches. I'm Andre Huey. Thank you for watching, and join us again next time for another edition of SKN Football Weekly Podcast.